Welcome to the series. This is a series on React CRUD. CRUD stands for Create, Read, Update, and Delete. And this time the CRUD will happen using the Headless WordPress. In our case, this guy right here, this is where we're getting all the data from. As you can see, this is the first one. And in the last video, we showed how to create a brand new post with the uploaded image media, and also showed how to create a single page for that created post. And this time we're going to show how to edit that post, just like that. In here it's pulling that single post data and the current featured image. So in here, as you can see, it's already edited. So this time we're going to put like 111 just to show that we added our stuff to it. And now we're going to go ahead and try to change this image into this. And as you can see right now, it just changed the image. And I got to tell you, this part is the most complex of the whole page, but we'll figure that out when we go to the code. For now, we just hit update. And as you can see here, it updated and then pushed us back to our home page, which is the blog index. And if we go to the single page, we see the new image now and our updated text. That being said, let's go to the code to see how it was done. All right, so we are back in the code. So I decided to let's just follow the code page by page. So let's start from the single post page, which is this guy right here. Single post page is calling single blog or blog single. So right here we're calling the blog single, and blog single has the edit post button right here. This guy, right? So let's see what this one is pulling in. This one is actually linked to update post page, and we are passing along the post ID. So just to make sure, let's go to the app.js and find our route. This is the route, update post page /:ID, and this is the one allowing us to create this link with the post ID. Now let's go to the update post page. So this is our update post page, and this is bringing in the post ID. So let's look at it closely. This is a regular page with a whole bunch of the layout components, page, content, row, etc. And one important thing it's bringing in is the use params from the React router DOM. Using that, we're collecting that ID and passing that along to our update post component as a prop, post ID. Now let's go look at our update post component. All right, so finally we are at the update post component. If we look at the top, we see all our regular imports, and most important one is the WP API and the use history. And this is the one's gonna help us redirect to the home page. And here we have to look a little bit carefully because this is not our usual constants. Yes, we do have our title, image URL, and content, as we saw before in the insert post episode. But here a new one coming in, which is old image. And this is something we need to show this image swap right here, as you will see very soon. And the rest is the usual. The is pending is helping us with the loading spinner, and here is the history object we just collected from use history to help us redirect pages. And this is the usual WP object instantiated from WP API. And at the very beginning, we just have a use effect. In here, we're bringing in the single post using that post ID that we just passed along as a prop from this page right here, right there. And in here, we're using the WP API, and this time we're doing post and using an ID filter and passing along that post ID, and .get is getting the single post data and putting it into this single post, which is pretty much this guy right here. And once we get the data, we are updating our title, content, and old image from the REST API data right here. Here's the title, title.rendered. Here is the content, content.rendered. And here's a bunch of image URLs, the full, medium, and thumb. Now I have to mention something here, that in a regular REST API result, you will only find this guy, featured media and an ID. But this extra stuff, I'm actually generating using a WordPress function. Let me just quickly show you. I mean, this is our WordPress backend, WP-API, and this is the code for WP-API. And when you look into the functions file, you will see for the images is this function right here. Basically, this is a filter, REST prepare post, and this is my function prepare REST. And in here, I'm actually adding these variables. This filter actually automatically gives us the post and the data and the request. From that post, I'm collecting this ID, getting the image or the featured image thumbnail ID. Using that ID, I am getting different URLs for thumbnail, medium, and full size images, and putting them in these variables and creating a data array and returning it. And using this REST prepare filter, we're finally getting these results where we can collect the URLs for the full image, medium image, or the thumbnail image. And thus we have our set old image single post featured underscore thumb, and this guy is actually letting this tiny image happen, right? Okay, so now let's moving forward. At this point, we're just going to go straight to the form. The first one is just a regular text input, which is handling our title using set title e.target.value. And this is the one which is handling our image file upload. In here, we have to notice the onChange function. I'm getting the e.target.files and putting into this object right here. And then I am using, in fact, let's just make it bigger, using this constant to collect the desktop img element, which is this guy right here, this position. And if you notice here though, at the very beginning, it uses the old image, which we are collecting all the way up here, right here. So that means it's actually showing us the original featured image that we collected from the single post. So when the page first loaded, we're actually showing the original image, but later on, once we go through an actual upload, which is right here, let's say we want to change this to this box right here. See, immediately this one changes. Now this one is no longer coming from the REST API, because now if you update post, you'll see this is the image URL. This is a completely different object, which is basically, this is a separate constant that we are adding it to the image URL. But before that, we're checking for this file object, and inside that we are using the regular JavaScript function create object URL, which is using this file object and generating a local URL for us. And we are taking this element, the desktop image element, and we're using it as a image.source, thus changing this image right here. Once that happens, we are taking that same file object and uploading it to this image URL, which eventually, when we actually hit the update now button and calling handle insert post, let's go look at what's happening in that. This is our handle insert post, which is an async function. And here we're declaring two globals, upload image and updated post, mainly because we have a whole bunch of try catches here, so that We can use this variable globally. At the very beginning, we are setting the isPending to true so that our loading spinner starts. And this is where we're actually showing the image URL. Basically, this object we just updated, this is the file object. And we take that file object and use WP-API, which is wp.media.file, and pass along the image URL, and then .create, and providing this information. I'm just keeping it simple at this point, hard coding it, but you can change all of them using variables. Basically what this one is doing is taking our object from the local system and uploading to WordPress media library and giving it an ID. Whatever object we're creating here, uploaded image, we're collecting that ID using uploadedimage.id, which is right here, 1409, this box. So once we get that ID, we're gonna start another block of WP-API, where this time instead of create, we use post.id, pass along that ID that we received as a prop, and use that .update function and give all the necessary arguments. The title, the content, and the featured image now has this brand new image that we just created. And in here also, I'm just hard coding them, the category tags, feel free to change them. And in the end, status.publish, so that we get to see our edit immediately by visiting the blog index. And in here, we're turning the isPending to false so that the loading spinner stops. And once that does, history.push to the home page or the blog index. Now that you've seen this, let's just go over this once more. Here, go to the single page, click edit. In fact, let's clear it a little, okay? And now we're gonna say 222, just to show that we are editing again. 222, and let's change this image to this guy. And immediately this one changes, and we hit update now and come back to our blog index to find our single post featured image changed and our new data showing up. That's all for this video. If you like this, please smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please smash the like button and the subscribe button. This will help me bring more free contents like this to you every week. Thanks again.